Hey there, Cheng here with a probably not so super quick video because it's a very in-depth or very complicated subject, but a as short as possible video on why direct response marketing is so yucky, why it feels yucky, and the underlying reasons behind it. It turns out they are actually causing or using, let me rephrase, the way most direct response marketing methods are being used in today's marketplace. That's how they're causing this yuckiness. They're not inherently evil, they're not inherently yucky. There are applications where they completely make sense, but when it comes to attracting high-end clients, they're not a good fit. And here on the screen, with lots of buttons, which I'm going to have to click because I've done this whole thing in Photoshop, I'll show you how this works. So when you look and read down below, I've shown you a bit of the history of where they come from, these methods. And it turns out they are mostly or primarily focused on the two ends of the sales cycle, if you like. One is getting attention, and then the other one is getting people to take action at the very end. And they cause two very distinct sets of problems. I'll show you those now. So the first one here is an example. As I said, I love pyramids, where I show you, I can help you with jet lag. In an ideal world, we would love to be able to go out and say, look, I can help you with X. And I've just used jet lag here as an example, because that actually happened to me in practice. I found a wonderful solution to jet lag, tried to share it with all my colleagues when I still was working at Siemens in the corporate world, and no one wanted to listen. But whatever it is, you have a gift, you want to help people when you go out and, tell people, hey, I can help you with X. And the problem is people don't pay attention. And it all has to do with market maturation. It's basically the concept that our brains are hardwired to detect contrast. If anything or if something sounds or looks like everything else out there, we're not paying attention to it. And we have to live with this. That's how our brains are hardwired. So the only way to get attention is to increase contrast, and we typically do this by increasing our claims, if you like. So now I have to go and find my little button here. This is me increasing contrast, and I can basically do this by saying, well, instead of I can help you with the jet lag, I can here we go. I can cure your jet lag in 12 seconds. So now we've added speed to it. And you will have seen this in the marketplace, easier, faster. Those are the kinds of things that get results. Now, after a while, all your competitors are saying the same thing. And it doesn't have to be jet lag. If you go out and say, I'm a life coach, I can help you. And there are a ton of other life coaches out there who say, I'm a life coach, I can help you. There's no contrast, and as a result, no one pays attention to it. So what do? You increase contrast by saying, jet lag not only in 12 seconds, but in the form of a pill. You don't actually need to do any work. And you've seen this in the weight loss market. Initially it was you can lose 10 pounds in a month, and then it was 10 pounds in a week. And then it was a pound a minute, and then it was like lose all your weight overnight. And now we get to the point where, well, you don't need to do anything, you just take this pill. And of course, once everyone starts claiming that, well, what do? You increase the power more. And now I'm going to say, well, jet lag, look, that's for beginners. What I give you is time travel. You don't need to, worry about any of this anymore. And once you get to that point, well, there is no further step because, of course, time travel is unbelievable, or it's not believable. And that is the big problem. A lot of us find ourselves in this situation here. All the claims have been made. This attempt to increase contrast by increasing claims has led to a situation where it's basically now the only way to seemingly get attention in the marketplace is to make claims that are no longer believable. So I'm going to remove this circle just, to keep this semi-clear with all the arrows going on. But this is basically what we're facing. We are, now let me find my little arrow, find ourselves in a situation where we want to increase attention because no one is paying attention to us in the first place. And we do this by using direct response marketing principles, like, increasing claims in this case, by using power words, by hitting the hot buttons. That's typically where copywriting lives. The problem, of course, is that, as you can see now, the closer you get to it's no longer believable, rather than increasing attention, the opposite happens. And, you're now getting this here. Attention is going down, and it's going down dramatically. And now the vicious circle starts. Because people are paying less attention, what do? Well, you're told to use more power words and more free reports and more reasons why and more and more and more. And what happens as a result? Instead of attention going down, up, it goes down. The side effect of all of this, and it's a very important side effect, is that, of course, not only attention goes down, but all these other good things like engagement. And when engagement goes down, well, ad prices go up. The cost per click is, in many advertising platforms like Facebook and Google, directly related into how relevant your ad appears to be. And if it's irrelevant because no one pays attention to it, the cost goes up. Sharing goes down. And there are a ton of other reasons why, or what happens as a result of attention going on. But these are the really important ones. And I've put 3 asterisks behind the sharing, because when you look at really successful brands like Gary Vaynerchuk, they build everything around sharing. Dropbox built their entire success on sharing. That's the key principle. And if you don't get attention, there's no sharing. So the whole idea of creating viral content, it's basically down the drain because you don't have attention. And you don't have attention because you are using using in the incorrect format, if you like, these direct response marketing principles, power words, hot buttons, etc. This is the first half of the equation. Like I said, there are 2 areas where this is being used. And this is bad enough as it is. And I'm hoping that you agree that for what we are trying to do, not impulse purchases, but things that are considered decisions, buying decisions, using direct response marketing principles, although they kind of make sense on the surface, they are counterintuitive as it may seem, creating the exact opposite of what we're trying to do. So we need to get away from using these and do something else. And I'll share further down how to do that. So let's go to the other side, and I need to look in my many buttons I can press here, what we can do. So on the other hand, if you have now a situation where you manage to somehow get people to pay attention to you, go through your funnel, whatever you want to call it, and they come to the end of the whole equation, you say, well, go and buy my thing. And guess what? They don't buy. Well, so what you do is, you increase the pressure a little bit by, for example, adding bonuses. And if that doesn't work, well, you increase the pressure a little bit more by adding, for example, price drops. This module is worth £5 million and this one is £10 million, but you get this instead of for £3,000, you get it for not only, I'm not going to charge you £1,000, not even $500, I'm going to charge you $7. It's ridiculous, all right? If there's true value, you should be charging for true value. And if that doesn't work, and by the way, I'm not making this up. I mean, it kind of almost semi-amuses me when I see various client attraction courses that, I'm going to teach you how to speak from stage, sell from stage, and here it is, my ultimate client attraction course. And then they go, and by the way, we have this module worth £5 million, and this one over here, this much, and these bonuses, but you need to act now. I'm going, seriously? You're trying to tell me how to attract clients by using these principles? That's a joke. Anyway, so this doesn't work. Then we increase the pressure but a little bit more by, act now. Urgency, scarcity. If you don't act now, the end is going to end. And then, of course, at some point we get to the point where it is no longer believable. And that's kind of what I alluded to a second ago, is the moment you start stacking the bonuses so high that the bonuses are worth more than the product, and the price for the modules you put out there are just inflated and made up, people no longer believe you. It is no longer something that is believable, and as a result, you get a diminished response. So our attention or our intention is to basically drive action up, but really what's happening is action is going down. And with it, all kinds of other very, very important things. So here we go. Referrals. For most coaches and consultants, the idea of marketing is to start getting a basis of good clients, like the true 1,000 fans. And I should actually, let me move this here for you. Otherwise, this is not going to look pretty. So there we go. No 1,000 fans. Okay. So for most coaches and consultants, the idea is to build a business initially through marketing where you have a good basis of true fans who then give you referrals. Well, if you scare them away, you are not getting referrals. And that's a bad idea. Sharing, as I mentioned before, Gary Vaynerchuk, entire businesses, you're not getting any sharing because, well, you've kind of been hitting people over the head and you've gotten to the point where they no longer believe you. Future business, of course, goes down the drain. And this, I guess I should almost underline, just mentally pretend I've underlined this now. At the core of all of this, the action bit, is one very, very important principle, which I'll explain to you later on. I've built an entire model around this, the 4 quadrants. And to summarize this in a nutshell, it's like this. At any given moment in time, only about 3% of the population are ready to take action right now on your thing. The other ones have to think about it. They are just not in the right place. Either they lack information or they lack progress. They haven't reached the stage where they could take advantage of your thing, or maybe they lack the resources and need to get those first. But whatever the reason is, only about 3% of the population are ready to take action now. By you increasing the pressure, by action now, the world will end. Yes, you will get a few of those. And I have many, many case studies, not fortunately from my own world or my own business, but observing colleagues, observing this online where they go, I just dropped $5,000 on this whatever coaching course. And when I ask them, why did you do this? The response within a few weeks usually is, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, they weren't thinking. They were being taken advantage of by these hardwired responses. The pressure of act now or the world will end. And inevitably, when I talk to these people, it's, well, will you do business with this person who sold you this stuff ever again? The answer is no. And that is why I'm highlighting, mentally underline, please, future business and goodwill and back of mind. This is at the core of, it's almost the big overlooked part of your prospect or prospective client pool that is completely ignored by you using these hardwired responses. You're hitting the 3% and you're assuming you are also appealing to these other 97%, and you're not. You are scaring them away. You're being disrespectful to their actual needs, informational needs or progress needs or getting resources in place needs, whatever their needs are. You're being disrespectful because you're ignoring them and you're hitting them over the head with hardwired responses like act now, etc. And as a result, you can see action is not actually going up, it's going down. And it's going down not only visibly because people don't believe you, but invisibly to a huge, huge proportion of your prospective clients, namely to the tune of 97%. It's in practice not 97%, but it's the vast majority of clients will be put off doing business with you in the future. So there you go. It's a beautifully symmetrical thing, but it's quite messy. And had I just put this in text as opposed to video, it would have been probably quite hard to understand. I'm hoping you understand how this or the underlying principle, direct response marketing principles like scarcity, urgency, hot buttons, all the good things are used in copywriting to get attention and to get people to drive them to action. They are being used successfully on a small percentage of the population, namely those who are ready to pay attention or to take action. But the vast majority of your prospective clients are not ready, and they will be put off. They're not paying attention to you because you get to the point, and now I can probably highlight this again, beautiful red circle, because you find yourself in a situation where your claims and your bonuses and whatever it is you're putting out there are no longer believable. And as a result, people, rather than pay attention to you, the attention goes down and their action goes down, or their willingness to take action goes down. And then if you now go in and apply more pressure and more hot buttons, etc., rather than it going up, it goes further down and down and down and down. Alrighty, there you go. That's in a 15-minute nutshell almost, how this whole thing hangs together. It took me a long time to really come to get to clarity of how this works. And now I'm passing it on to you, and I hope you can move forward and say, look, goodbye, good riddance, direct response marketing, or not the fundamental principle, but the wrong application for the right audience at the wrong time. Alrighty, cheers.